Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Dr. B's Thursday Thoughts. As promised, I bring senior parents of the class of 2020 advice from those of us who have been through what you are about to go through, sending a child off to college, whether they are going locally or they are going away. So I was in the 80s vibe, so we have 80 theme songs as our title of the presentation and the title of the slide. So just to add a little flair to it. So I hope you find this advice helpful. And this presentation is entitled, If Only You Knew, Advice from One Parent to Another. Our first advice comes from Miss Tracy Narcisse. Tracy, thank you so much for giving this advice. And it is entitled, Never Knew a Love Like This. Miss Narcisse says, we were told not to live with regrets. Well, the same belief should be practiced when we send our graduate off to college and we expect them to call their parents every day. They will not call. Accept the fact that they are adapting to a new environment with new friends and new learning experiences. Moms, this next statement is so true. A mother's love lasts long after she lets go. This statement is also true. So adopt a hobby before they ship out. Our next advice is from Ms. Monique Spears, and I have entitled it, Drop a Bomb. You dropped a bomb on me. And Ms. Spears says, for those scholars that will be locating more than a short drive away, it's a good plan to put funds aside to cover an emergency trip. I know this from personal experience. So you want to have some cash aside, a credit card aside that you haven't touched. Of course, we will pray that they are safe, but it's best to be prepared. The next advice is also from a parent who is a 2019 senior parent and son is now in college. And this parent says, encourage your scholar to live their dreams and put the action behind the dreams. Don't just talk about it. And this advice reminded me so much of Langston Hughes' poem, Dreams, where he says to hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is like a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. I love that, and I think it speaks so highly to this advice. Our next advice is from Mr. Raphael Curtis, a proud Purple Knight and a member of the graduating class of 1989. And he has also dealt with college counseling for several years. In his advice, he says, as a Gen Xer and a graduate of the class of 1989, I have witnessed and experienced major changes in how we share and acquire knowledge. When I graduated from high school, I could not have imagined half of the media platforms available to young people today, or the skills and tools necessary to access them. In fact, if you had asked me at age 17, would I be able to manage the work I do daily? My answer would have been an emphatic no. Here is what I can say with a degree of certainty. Parents, please listen. We are all growing, developing, and learning. None of us have this thing figured out. So my advice is to be a passionate, lifelong learner. Be open-minded, creative, and take risks. Also, please have your scholars approach their work with a degree of seriousness. If you manage these things along with the challenges and losses along the way, parents, they'll be just fine. Congratulations from Mr. Curtis. And the last piece of advice from a college parent, also a Purple Knight, and also has worked in high school for several years. Parents, this is his advice. For a graduating senior attending college in the fall, They will need to make sure they have good time management skills, be able to balance their checkbook, and be able to handle themselves when situations occur. I have learned that as a parent, I have to let go and let my son find his way. He had to understand I was not going to be there every time a problem comes up. Colleges will not talk to parents about their child's situation. I'm going to say that again. Colleges will not talk to parents about their child's situation, not grades nor financial. Your child is an adult and they will treat them like one. They must be able to handle themselves and learn from their mistakes. You will have to let their hand go and allow them to walk on their own, because if you don't, they will not survive because they have not learned how to handle situations on their own. One day, you will not be here to take care of them. And then what will they do? And finally, this one is entitled Keep On Moving. These are just Dr. B's thoughts in relationship to move-in day and parent orientation. Parents, that time is so important and so hectic. My first piece of advice is to please be on time. As a matter of fact, be a little earlier than the check-in time on their ticket. My second piece of advice, be prepared. Bring a dolly if they're going away to college. You don't know if they're moving upstairs. You cannot imagine the stuff that you are going to have to bring and carry up those stairs. So please bring a dolly. Also bring tools. You never know what you're going to need it for. And of course, bring cleaning supplies, especially in light of our current situation. And our last piece of advice is parents, please be informed. Yes, there is a lot to do when you are moving your scholar in their dorm room, but you also want to make sure that you go to those parent information sessions. They give you a wealth of information about who to go to for who, and even though you may not be able to go to those persons, you will have your notes down to tell your scholar who to go to. So please do not miss those parent information sessions. Again, thanks so much to our advice givers, Ms. Narcisse, Ms. Spears, and Mr. Curtis, and our two anonymous advice givers. Parents, please don't hesitate to reach out with questions. You can message me through the app. Half of you probably have my phone number. I promise if I do not know the answers, I know at least 5 people who do know the answers. So don't hesitate to reach out with advice. So next week, parents, please have your scholars tune in. Another special treat, next week I will be holding a Q&A session with members of the senior class of 2019, which are now members of their college university classes of 2023. And we will talk about the first year in college. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good evening.